case of a security solutions application in action at a high-tech IT park. Using a process we call Threat Vulnerability Risk Assessment, we have identified these risk-prone areas: the main gate entry, car park, lobbies, high security zones, and perimeter. Here's how our system design can ensure that every access point into the facility is securely protected. Consider the case of an employee entering the premises in a car. As the employee's car draws up to the access gates, he puts his access card in the radio frequency identification RFID tag mounted on the vehicle and presses the button. The security camera tracks the vehicle as it passes, which allows the car to be viewed on camera by security staff at the main gate security room. As the car moves across the barrier, its chassis is scanned by the Under-Vehicle Scanner System UVSS to locate any unidentified or foreign objects like explosives. If the vehicle passes scrutiny, a signal passes to the boom barrier, which is raised, permitting the employee's car to proceed into the car parking area. Here, note how the system conveniently displays the available parking slots at the entry. As the car moves into its parking bay, it is being monitored by this dome camera and is viewable at all times from the main command center. The system also stores a record for future reference if required. At the access control point, the employee displays his access card to the card reader. The flaps open and the employee passes through. For complete security, we even recommend a dedicated parking bay for buses and cars. Here's a recap of the security procedure in the case of an employee entering by car. Consider the case of an employee entering the premises on foot. A pedestrian employee needs to pass through a multi-zone door frame metal detector, which automatically scans her for metal objects. Here, she passes through since she is not carrying any large metal objects. Next, employees flash their access card at the access control point. The swing barrier opens to admit them into the premises. Seen here is a recap of the security procedure for pedestrian entry. Consider now the case of a visitor entering by the main gate in a car. Visitors entering by car, but without valid identification, are stopped at the boom barrier and are directed to the visitor parking area. They then walk to the visitor management cell, where they must apply for a visitor card. Once in possession of a valid access card, they may return to their parked vehicle and enter the premises. Seen here is a recap of the security procedure for visitor entry. Consider the case of a chauffeur-driven employee or visitor. Here we see a vehicle entering the lobby entrance on the ground floor, dropping off a person who intends to enter via the lobby entrance. To do so, he passes through the door frame metal detectors, monitored by a security guard. In this case, the metal detector is activated since it has detected a large metal object on his person. The visitor is now led away by security for frisking. But a visitor with no metal objects on his person is allowed to pass through the door frame metal detector without interruption. Note, however, that he still needs to display his access card at the access point before passing through the flap barrier. Here is a recap of the security procedure for chauffeur-driven visitors. Consider the case where an employee or visitor needs to enter a high-security zone, in this case, the server room at our high-tech IT park. An advanced 3D facial recognition system scans the individual and matches him against a database of authorized individuals before the person can be authorized to enter. Here's another high-security zone, an advanced research and development laboratory which uses an iris recognition system to authorize access. Here is a recap of the security procedure for high security zone entry. Now, consider the case of perimeter intrusion. When an intruder attempts to breach the perimeter fence, his movements are detected by the video analytics camera. Simultaneously, the power fence installed on the perimeter administers a non-lethal shock to the intruder on contact, triggering an alarm at the command center, initiating defensive action by the facility's quick reaction team. Here is a recap of the security procedure for the perimeter intrusion detection system. Consider a case of gate crashing. Should a car gate crash the premises by deliberately breaking through the boom barrier, the bollards are instantly raised and the car is brought to a forcible halt. The bollards are built to withstand high-speed impact. The system design also caters to the special needs of physically challenged persons. Here, we see the security procedure for a physically challenged individual entering via the car parking area. Once he shows the access card at the flap barrier, access is granted and he may use a dedicated lift to move upstairs. Dedicated access zones for the physically challenged are also provided at lobbies and at basements.